accepting that he's autistic, but now I'm learning that he may never speak.
Kiss you, yeah, I just wanna feel you, feel you. I want you around.
Okay, y'all, welcome to my channel. This is a glimpse of Trina. And as you can see from the title, I'm going to give you the top. I have my phone here for my notes and stuff, so I don't forget nothing, because my mind be. The top 5 struggles of being a mom of an autistic child that's nonverbal. So before I started my YouTube channel, I wanted to give y'all a little insight on my life, because a lot of my video will include my kids, and you will see that my son, he's in his own little world, he don't talk. And before anybody start asking any questions, I just want to go ahead and tell y'all the rundown. So my son was diagnosed when he was 2 years old. And when he first started, when he first started, he could speak. And I'm not saying like he could have full sentences, but you know, like how you have to go to a doctor every 6 months or 3 months. I forgot how I started off, but when they're babies, and you know how you do that checkup every time, and they give you the little questionnaire to fill out, he was doing really good. But the thing about it is, like, as soon as he turned 1, my son just completely shut off. Like, once he turned 1 and he shut off, I was like, okay, something's wrong. So when he turned 2, we went and got him diagnosed at the Marcus Autism Center in Georgia. And he has autism. It was hard. So the number one thing about being a mother, and I don't even really want to say struggles, we could just say my experiences for being a mother of an autistic child for right now, because he's only 6, so I still have a lot more growing to go with him. But the number one thing that I know a lot of parents can relate to is we struggle with accepting that our child is autistic. Like, being a mother and hearing that something's wrong with your child, that hurts, because it's like, it puts you in a mental state as, what did I do? Like, did I do something wrong? Like, why is my child being identified as autistic? And that's how I felt. I felt like, you know, I had a miscarriage and I also had an abortion. So I felt like once I had the abortion, I felt like that was God's way of saying, you reap what you sow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did something that you wasn't supposed to do that I do not allow. And I felt like when my son got diagnosed, I blamed myself a lot. I didn't blame my husband. I didn't blame nobody else. I blamed myself for one. And then I blamed the medications. And it took me a long time to accept that my son was autistic, because I couldn't believe it. Because if y'all knew him, like, when Carlos was born, he was energetic, he would laugh, he was blabbing off with words, and then for him to just all of a sudden get quiet at the age of 1, it was just like, okay, cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's really going on? So, hold on, y'all, because I don't have my timer on, and I don't want to sit up and talk to y'all all night. So let me set a timer. So with that being said, the first thing I have is acceptance. We struggle with it a lot, especially in the African American community. Like, when we hear something, we were raised, because I'm a 1992 baby, but when we were raised, it was, don't let the doctors put that off on your child, because no. You don't let the doctor tell you about your child is bad. He gonna grow out of it, she gonna grow out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how we was raised. And sometimes that's not the case. Like, sometimes something might be legitimately wrong with your child. And there's nothing wrong with you going and getting your child checked out. Because at the end of the day, autistic children, they are smart. Like, my son, I just put this on the timer, right? Prime example, my son, he's on a schedule. So once something is up, he knows it. Like, he has to be to bed by between 9 and 9:30. And the only reason why I say that is because if I put him in bed too early, he's gonna wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. He don't have to wake up to 6. But even like this morning, his bus driver was like, he went to sleep on the way to school and on the way home. He was tired because he woke up out of his normal routine. But that's because I had put him in the bed, I think maybe 10 minutes earlier. So it knocked him off. But they have this sense of, you can put on a timer for 5 minutes and you can forget the timer. But them autistic kids, they will tell you. And they don't even need a timer. They don't need no clock. They don't need nothing. They will have you like, it's already been 5 minutes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times people don't realize, like, you have to accept your child being that way. That doesn't mean that your child is going to be that way forever, but you have to accept what God has gave you, because sometimes God gives you things that, you know, you just have to accept and move on to. And sometimes me knowing that my child is autistic, it took me like a long time to say, okay, let me accept the fact that God gave me him. He gave me a special child. Like, he gave me one of his unique children, and he know that I can handle it. So I had to really sit down, because I used to cry. Sometimes me and my best friend be in the car just talking about something randomly, and I just cried. I would cry so hard to the point where my best friend be like, you know, it's okay, best friend. And at some point she got to, like, she wouldn't even ask me no more. She wouldn't say, what's wrong? She'll be like, I get it. You having a moment. You know what I'm saying? Because my best friend cried. My best friend went with me because my husband was out working. So my best friend went with me to get him tested. So once we heard those words, me and my best friend was crying, because it was just like, wow, like, okay. But y'all, I'm not gonna lie. Once I found out that he was autistic, I was on the ball rolling. Like, he was in ABA within 2 weeks. Like, I was not playing. Like, you can ABA, speech therapy, occupational therapy, whatever you need, we're going to get you the help that you need. So, that's another thing. Also, I have to accept that I'm not putting it on him, but I have to accept that maybe my son will not be verbal. I'm learning to accept that now. Like, I passed the step of accepting that he's autistic, but now I'm learning that he may never speak. And if he do, he may not be able to speak as if me and you are speaking. You know what I'm saying? He may be able to say certain words, but he won't be able to complete a sentence. I'm learning to accept that now. You know what I'm saying? That's still something that's hard for me to accept. And I think it's because I'm so verbal and I talk a lot. That's why I had to put on this 30-minute timer. I talk a lot, but for me to know that he might not be able to talk as much as I do, I have to learn how to accept it. So that's why I said the number one thing, we could say struggle. The number one struggle of being a mother of an autistic child, because I don't know about any other disabilities, so I can't speak on them, but I know about an autistic child because I'm raising one. So the number one thing I would say is acceptance. Like, that's the number one thing that we as mothers and fathers, because I feel like it took my husband a while to accept the fact that Carlos was autistic. I feel like he was just like, he wasn't in denial, but he was just like, that can't be my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sure? Like, let's, you know what I'm saying? But it comes a time where you have to gradually learn your child. And then once you start learning them, it's like, okay, all right, you know what? We got this together. You know what I'm saying? The second thing I would say is patience. A lot of times I find myself, because I have a little girl too, and she's very smart and she's very talkative. A lot of times I find myself, I don't want to say I don't have patience, but a lot of times I find myself wanting Carlos to do more than what he's capable of doing at that moment. Like, Carlos learns fast. So sometimes I be wanting Carlos to learn this real fast, and sometimes he don't. And sometimes I get impatient because I be like, you know, Carlos, please hurry up and learn this, because I need for you to be doing this. I need for you to be doing that. And that's where I messed up at. And that's why I say that's a struggle. Now, all these things that I'm naming is a struggle for me, and maybe it can help somebody else. But I know I wish I wish that somebody else would have helped me because I didn't know nothing about an autistic child, y'all. I didn't go to no seminar. I didn't go to no group meeting. I didn't go to nothing. And not because I was ashamed, but because I had 2 kids back to back. So sometimes as a mother, you have to put your kids first. And I don't be having time to go to these parent meetings, go to this, do this, talk to this person. I don't be having time for that because I still have to balance my life and my schedule between both of them. So patience, being a mom of an autistic child, you have to have patience because they don't have that much patience. Now, let me stop saying they because your child might have a lot of patience because it's different spectrums. Well, it's different I don't want to say categories. Like, it's different things. It's different levels. It is. It's different levels to autistic kids. Because sometimes you have little girls that's autistic and they're smart and they talk and they're energetic. And then you have people like my son where he's energetic but he don't talk. He's impatient. Like, my son is real impatient. Like, he be wanting stuff right then and there. Like, if he want to watch TV, he give me the remote over and over until I turn on the TV. You know what I'm saying? So, when I say patience, I mean patience from me and patience from him because he's impatient with some of the stuff that I do, and I be impatient with some of the stuff that he do. So, it be like, we both need to work on that together. So, I'm trying to find balance with that as well. This is not no sugarcoat message. Or talk, or whatever y'all want to call it. Activities. This is number 3, y'all. Activities. So when I say activities, meaning, now I'm not a big football fan, and I play soccer and I play a little basketball. Nothing too major, but I really play soccer. And when I say activities, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like me being his mother, I be wanting Carlos to go out there and play basketball. And I'm not saying he won't never be able to do any of this stuff, but just right now, because, you know, I grew up as you teach a child at a young age so they can prosper in the future. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's teaching him when he gets 12 and able to do it is going to be a problem. It's just like, and I have to sometimes stop myself from comparing my daughter and my son because my daughter, she's very active. Like, yeah, she be having me at that dance studio almost 4 times a week. Like, my head be about to explode. But she's so active. And then it'd be like, for my son, I'm looking into getting him some swimming lessons. But my son drink too much water. Like, even when he get in the tub and take a bath, he drinking the water. Like, he loves to drink water. So, that be like activities as in like doing stuff and being active out there. That's a struggle for me as a parent because I be looking at, I don't be looking at other people, you know, children and stuff, but just me knowing that that's what I grew up in, my cousin them grew up in it, you know what I'm saying, my sister, she grew up being active. It's just something that I'm so used to kids growing up doing that when it concerns my son, I focus more on his therapy than activities. So that's a struggle for me because sometimes I be like, okay, after therapy, I wish you could go to baseball practice, or I wish you could go to football practice, or even swim practice, you know what I'm saying? Or even karate, because he's very strong to be 6 years old, y'all. But, you know, that's just something else that, as a mother, you struggle with because you're like, I need for you to do X, Y, and Z, and maybe that's not the case. Hold on, y'all, I gotta put my phone on charger. Okay, y'all, so number 4 is schooling. Schooling. Let me tell y'all something about schools and children with disabilities. They don't care. I don't care what nobody tell you. They don't care. Now, certain districts, I don't know about, you know, nobody else, but in Georgia, DeKalb County is the worst county ever. And if you're from Atlanta, Georgia, and your child is going to school in DeKalb County, You feel what I'm saying? They are the worst. Schooling, I never thought that I would really be sitting up here stressed about school. Now, I be stressed about school as far as my daughter concerned because I want her to get into these nice schools. And a lot of times, I don't know about nobody else, but a lot of times in Georgia, it's a lottery process. So you may get and you may not. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, I be like, oh my God, please get into school. You know what I'm saying? She's only 5, so... But that's my concern with her. But my concern with my son is not only the school that he getting in, but it's also like them teaching him. Their communication sucks. It sucks so bad to the point where you have to ask them about your child and then they getting smart with you as if you asking the wrong questions about your child. How that work? Where they do that at? Like, it really is a situation where you have to sit back and you have to be like, you really think I'm not gonna ask you about my child? And then we had these IEP meetings for what? For almost 2 hours to talk about what? Because anything that a parent voices their concerns about, the school system don't care. And I'm sorry, the Cobb County don't care. But I've read a lot of other school systems, they don't care. Like, they don't care about your child needing X, Y, Z, being by themselves, this special therapy or nothing. Like, y'all, it's to the point now where I'm looking for a lawyer for my child. Like, because one thing I don't play about is my children and their education. Because one thing my grandma didn't play about was my education. Now, did I go to the best school of the schools? No. Was some of my public schools not the worst schools, but were some of them to the point where it was like, you know, they cared to a certain extent? Yes. You know what I'm saying? But my lips are dry, y'all. I'm sorry. But it's a situation where it's like you have to be the voice for your child, but then you have to remain humble at the same time because you don't know what they're doing to your child for them 8 hours. So then you have to sit there and wonder all day. And then now, I don't know about nobody else's school system, but with the Cobb County, now you have to make appointments to go and see your child and sneak in on your child. But when I was being raised, baby, my grandma used to walk up in there like, I'm here, what's up, where's she at? You know what I'm saying? But now, you have to make an appointment. What y'all covering up for? Like, what are y'all doing? If I want to come in there and y'all been telling me that he been taking off his shoes, he been taking off his clothes, but then when he have therapy, he don't do none of that at home. Let me come in there and pop up on him. I guarantee you the attitude will change. But yeah, when I tell y'all, sometimes the school system will make you feel like you want to just pull your child out. But I'm so caught up in the middle of pulling him out or leaving him in there. And only because I want Carlos to be able to be around other people besides us. But I also want him to continue getting the help that he deserves and that he needs. Y'all, ABA therapy, let me tell y'all something. If your child is diagnosed with autism, the number one thing I tell people, ABA therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy is the best combination. Let me tell you why. Especially when you get those BCBAs or those ABA professionals, especially when you get the ones that actually care about your child. My baby, ever since my baby been going to ABA, he have gained so many good people in his life. ABA taught my baby how to eat with a fork and a spoon, even though he don't like no fork. He like it. Anything he eat, he want to eat it with a spoon. It could be spaghetti. I have to chop it up and he'll eat. I don't even really have to chop it up. I just chop it up because he'll get it all over the place. But that's any child. But ABA therapy taught my baby how to use the bathroom, put on his clothes, eat with utensils, daily living skills. You know what I'm saying? Occupational therapy is teaching him how to cut, how to write. Speech therapy is teaching him how to use his voice, which he has a tablet. And I recommend that to anybody that's nonverbal. Get your baby a tablet at an early age because, baby, my son know how to go in there and he tell you what he want. He know how to tell you he frustrated. He know how to tell you he need to go to the bathroom. He know how to tell you he want to take a break. Like, it's different things that helps these kids. And a lot of time, we don't have that support system. You know what I'm saying? And it's not because we ain't looking for it, but because sometimes we don't have that time. I know I didn't have the time to sit over there and go to these parent meetings and listen to other parents. Because I had a whole nother baby. And I'm not finna bring my kids with me and I'm trying to learn something. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm that type of person, like, even when I go to the grocery store and I'm trying to focus, I ask anybody, not anybody, but you know, like my family or my friends or whoever, can you please watch them for a couple of hours because I need to focus. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I gotta hurry up now. I only put myself on a 30-minute timer. I might go maybe 5 minutes for y'all. But the last one is levels. So when I say levels, they have like a system where it's 1, 2, 3. The one is mild, really, really low autism. The third one is high, like aggressive, like not, I don't want to say very bad, but it's like more intense autism. And then the second one, like, it's the middle. So you know how you got like, how you say it, low, medium, high? That's how it is in the autism world. And I struggle with that because every time Carlos start getting a little aggressive, I be like, okay, we gotta hurry up and tone this down because when he go get his reevaluation, I don't want them to say that he went up a level. I already hear them say, okay, he's coming down. So I struggle with it a lot, like, and a lot of times people don't know that. Like, I don't tell a lot of my family my feelings and stuff. Like, I just deal with it. But a lot of times I be like, okay, when Carlos start getting aggressive and stuff, I be like, okay, you know what? We're going to try something different. Like, you know what? You need to calm down because I don't want you to go and get reevaluated and they say you know I got worse and we've been working on you for so long. So I struggle with, I don't want to say the opinions of others, but I struggle with knowing that he could get more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? I struggle with knowing that maybe he won't get more aggressive, but he might get more into, he don't want to be bothered. Like, a lot of times people say autistic kids don't like to be touched. I touch my son every day, y'all. That's why I tell y'all, whatever works best for you and your child, do it. Now that's one thing I would tell you, do it. Whatever works best, because since my child don't really communicate with me like that, and my daughter can, like, I can tell my daughter every 5 minutes I love her. My daughter would ask you herself, like, Mama, you okay? Daddy, you okay? She'll ask you that every 5 minutes. But with my son, he will know. You know what I'm saying? He'll know when I'm going through a rough time. And that's why I always tell God, like, I'm grateful for my baby, because sometimes I be going through so much and my son will just come up and hug me. You know what I'm saying? Because he be knowing, like, okay, Mom, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people be like, well, they don't like to be touched, do they? Who? I kiss my son, I hug my son, I tickle my son. My son is loved and he gonna know it, he gonna feel it. He might not be able to speak it right now, but he's gonna feel it. And a lot of times I don't want people to think that, like, oh, well, your son is nonverbal and you don't believe he'll ever talk. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm accepting the fact that he may never. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes things happen for a reason. Maybe Carlos don't need to speak because he just don't need to talk about it. Maybe because me and his sister talk enough for him. You know what I'm saying? Me, him, sister, and his auntie, we talk enough for him to talk. So it's a situation where these things that we have to endure as a mother of a child with any disability, you're going to have struggles. You're going to have times where you're crying. You're going to have times where you're asking God, why? But the number one thing I tell people, it's okay. Breathe. Do whatever you got to do to get through the day. Like, over the week, my best friend had to come out here because she had seen on the phone that I was tired, y'all. And I'm still tired. But that little sleep that she helped me get, it helped. But sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need for somebody to be in your support and in your system to where you have that support, you have that guidance to help you. And sometimes you may need to just be around your child to learn your child. A lot of times I'm at home with my kids 24/7. I'm not doing anything. I'm not talking to nobody. I'm focusing on my kids because at the end of the day, I have to raise them. You know what I'm saying? So I had made this video just to give somebody a little encouragement because I I didn't really have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that it's not out there because they got a lot of systems to help people. But if you're a mother like me and you got 2 little ones back to back, because when Carlos got diagnosed, y'all, he was 2. Camila was 1. So I was still feeding her every hour, like, not every hour, but every so hour. She was on the schedule. Like, it was a lot. And then I had her going to the doctor, him going to the doctor. And then at the same time, I think I was still a stay-at-home mom. So a lot of times, people don't realize, like, sometimes you just don't have time. So and it's not because you don't want to make the time, but when you're a mother like me, you got 2 back to back. You can't stretch yourself thin with one child and neglect the other child. That's just not fair. So sometimes you have to just bite the bullet and learn gradually with your child. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's going to be a struggle, yes. But there's nothing wrong with just learning your child. And a lot of times people make it seem like, well, you're going to need help. You're going to need this. You're going to need that. Yes, you are. But at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer. I laid down and had you. It's my responsibility to take care of you. Especially with all the things that I went through in my childhood. I have to take care of my children. Now, do it get to a point that sometimes I be like, oh my God, I can't do this? Yes. But at the same time, it's rewarding. You know what I'm saying? When God blesses you to have, because there's a lot of people out here that can't have kids. Let's get this clear. So when God blesses you with a child, I don't care if he's autistic. I don't care if he's not able to walk. I don't care if he's not able to talk. I don't care whatever his situation, his or her situation may be. You still need to take that with gratefulness, with faith, with love, because sometimes everybody don't have that opportunity. And, being a mother is a job. A lot of times I have to tell my own husband that, like, babe, I'm still a mother. And I'm working 8 to 5, y'all. So with working 8 to 5, even though it's at home, I still have to get off of work, go get my kids, come back home, get one ready for dance, one ready for therapy, and still work. So when you're having multiple jobs, including being a parent, it can get overwhelming, and it can get to be a point where you're just like, oh my God, I can't do it. But it's not that you can't do it. It's just you need to slow down. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought that I would let y'all know that, because you're going to be seeing my kids a lot on my blogs and stuff. And I will be starting my podcast as well. My podcast will be 1 time a week, just going over my week, even if I just want to curse my kids out. No. It will be just basically a venting session for 30 minutes on a Friday night or Saturday night. I am going to do lives, but right now I'm just going to pre-record it and just let y'all do it. But it's going to be a time where you just sit and you just vent and you just say whatever you need to say. Because a lot of times we don't get to do that as mothers. Like, I'm doing this video right now. My kids just went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? You have to wait until it's calm, cool, and collective. But that's all in being a parent. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to give y'all a little mini clip. And like I said, let me go over here and tell y'all one more time. My top 5 struggles of being autistic mother, of being a mom of an autistic child, is acceptance, patience. Yeah, when my mind be moving faster than my mouth. Yeah. Anybody else feel like that? Acceptance, patience. I got activities, but we're gonna say sports. Schooling should be number 1, but you gotta accept things first. So schooling and the different levels of autism. So if your child has been diagnosed or you feel like your child is autistic, don't be afraid to go get them tested. Start at an early age, because a lot of times, especially in the African American community, we tend to wait till they about 8 or 9. I'm sorry. I'm real on this channel. And baby, you knew something wrong with your baby when they about 5, maybe 3. But I know by the time they turn 5, you knew something was wrong. Like, y'all, we need to stop waiting. There's nothing wrong with your kids going to therapy. I'm a grown adult and I go to therapy and sit down and talk to somebody. What's wrong with that? Sometimes people really do need help. It's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of times we look at it like, oh, well, I don't want to do this. Now, I am one of them parents where I be like, well, I don't want y'all getting medication. Now, that's one thing that I'm not with. I'm not with the whole medication thing because my grandma, when I was, how old was I? Maybe 15, and this therapist lady, I had started a new therapist lady. I don't know why, but I had started a new therapist lady, and she was trying to get me Ritalin, y'all. My grandma threw that shit in the trash, dumped that shit, and said, you ain't taking this and be stuck over there looking at the 4 walls. You know what I'm saying? So, some stuff, yes, we get it from who we were raised by, especially if you was raised by an older person, like your grandma or your granddaddy. You have this different concept in your head, because every time I talk to somebody, they always tell me, like, oh, you got an old soul. Like, I don't think like everybody else. Like, I be thinking above and beyond. But a lot of time when I say stuff, it comes true. So, if I tell y'all one day I'm running for president and I'm win, y'all better believe me. But no, I just want to make this video just so y'all can understand that it's okay. It's not the end of the world if your child get diagnosed. It's not the end of the world if you having a mental breakdown. It's not the end of the world if you get into a crossroad and you don't know what to do. It's not. Sometimes you just need that little boost of confidence. And you just need somebody to tell you that you got this. So from mother to mother, mother to father, mother to aunt, mother to whoever that's dealing with what I'm dealing with, or in the same or similar situation, you got this, girl. Not you worry about nothing. Everybody have a moment to cry. It's just like when people be grieving. Everybody don't get over grievance at the same time. Sometimes it takes people a while. Like, a lot of times people be thinking that, because my grandma raised me. So a lot of time, and my granddaddy passed 2 years ago. Yeah, about 2 years ago. A lot of times people take it as if, oh, well, you don't cry no more, you don't do this no more. That don't mean I'm not still grieving. Every day I wake up and I be thinking about my grandma. Or something had happened in my life and I be like, oh, my grandma. Like, when I needed sleep, the first thing came to my head was, if my grandma was still alive, I could have took these kids over there. She would have locked me in my room and told these kids, you better sit down, you better find something to eat, and leave your mama alone for a couple of hours. Like, that's how my grandma was. So, you got to take things at your speed. You have to learn your child. And that's one thing that I really want people to understand about autistic kids. Learn them. Don't give nobody else the opportunity to tell you about your child. Learn your child. Once you learn your child, once you learn what your child is capable of doing and what they're not, you'll be okay. But first, you got to learn your children. You can't just expect for them to do X, Y, and Z, and you haven't learn them. Even if they're not autistic, a lot of mothers and fathers, they need to learn how to learn their child. Like, I know when something that happened with Mila and she don't want to tell me, so I sent her to her aunt, because guess what? She'll tell her aunt before she tell me. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll tell me certain things before she tell her dad. Or if I'm being mean to her, she won't say nothing to me, but she'll go run to her daddy. You learn your children. But when you have an autistic child, you have to really sit there and you really have to learn them, and you have to get them to understand you, and you have to understand them. And once y'all get like in a system or a pattern, you'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't easy. I don't care how many books you read. I don't care how many articles you read. It's not easy. Nobody has a handbook on this situation. They have books out there telling you, they have books out there explaining to you about their situations, but they don't have, like, you don't get a rule book on how to be a mother. You don't get a rule book on how to be a mother of an autistic child. You don't get a rule book on how to be a mother of 2 little kids back to back. You don't get nothing. You have to learn it from yourself. And a lot of times people don't realize that. And once people realize that learning is becoming a mother, and becoming a mother is all about learning, it'll be so much simpler. So much simpler. But, y'all, that's my timer. I just want to give y'all a little brief a little brief thing, because we don't talk about it enough in our community at all. And a lot of times we look at other people's kids and we're like, oh, that child just bad. Because I used to be the same way. Like, if I seen a little kid in the store cutting the food, I used to be like, oh, that couldn't be me, because my grandma would have knocked me upside my head. But maybe something wrong with that child, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of kids out here have ADHD, and a lot of parents refuse to go and see. But when you really do your real research on these different, you know, situations and stuff with these different ADHD, autism, it was another one that I had learned. I don't know, I gotta figure it out. But when you really like do your research on it, it's kind of like a situation where it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so that's why my cousin baby be doing it. Okay, so that's okay. You know what I'm saying? But when you're raised the way we're raised, we don't want to believe it. We want to just say, oh, they'll grow out of it. But sometimes they don't. So either you gonna do your research and get your baby the help that they need, or you just gonna be in denial for the rest of your life. But whose fault is gonna be? Your child or yours? Because now you're sacrificing your child getting the help that he or she needs because you're afraid of what your family members are gonna say about you. They ain't gotta raise some kids. Them ain't their kids. But no, y'all, this is gonna be my channel. And my saying on my channel is, without further ado, it is what it is. Good night, y'all.
Next to you,